This is Kevin from Walker's Adventures. Thanks for tuning in this morning. Today we're going to be changing out our water heater for a tankless water heater on a Keystone Cougar 32 RLI 2018. So let's show you what we got to do this. Hopefully it will be no problem. Already started without you. The first thing I do is loosen these 3 screws right here, then clear all the caulking around this cover plate. Then once you do that, you just pull it off. Of course, then you got to clean up all the excess. That way the new hot water heater will do good, so let's clean that up. Okay, so I got that cleaned up. I'm going to use a cloth and get all the extra residue off. But most of the caulking's off. Now before you go any farther, you need to kill the power to your hot water heater. Pretty much all the RV, and then also you got to unhook this and turn off your propane. But we ain't quite ready for that yet. But make sure you turn off your propane and your power before you go any farther. Okay, and right here's where the hot water heater access is inside the camper. Right beside the shower, you got a panel right here that has 2 screws in it. You undo those, and there's the water connections for your water heater. And right here is your shut-off valve. If you ever have to winterize your camper or need to turn off the water to the hot water heater, it's right there. So it's off, as you can see. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and unhook the hot water. Since the valve is off, those 2 right there. You got your cold at the bottom and your hot at the top. They say they're only hand tight, so let's see if I can loosen them by just my hand. You might also want to get you a towel, because you're probably going to have a little bit of water come out of the pipe. Even though you got it shut off, it's been shut off for a couple of days. So I started unloosening it, and it still has pressure on it. So I'm going to take an 1 1/8 and take off the drain plug right there and let all the water out. Okay, we got the plug off. We're just letting it drain now. So mistake number 1, you can't unhook this while the water's still on, because that valve makes it so it don't put water into the tank, but it still bypasses and goes around to the rest of the line. So I had a bunch of water come out, but it'll be okay. So right here's what we got: a FOGATTI Insta 6. So there it is. So let's get ready to start taking the other one out. Right there's some information on it. It's an automatic pulse ignition, low pressure startup system, dry burning protection, flame out protection, antifreeze protection. So it has about everything you can get in one. Okay, so I got the gas off and I got the power off. I'm going to take out the screws. So far the only screws I see holding it in is right there and right there. So once you remove those screws, it should just pull out. I've already got the water unhooked, but I'm getting ready now to undo the gas. So I'll show you that when I get it unhooked. Okay, so I got the gas unhooked, and I can still smell some. It's getting all the gas out of the lines. So don't worry about that. As long as your gas is off, it will dissipate in a few minutes. Okay, so I got it loose, but now you got to cut this from around the gas line so you can get the gas line back through the old water heater. Okay, so now we can remove it. You just want to be extremely careful. You don't want to crimp this line. So I'm going to go on the inside and see where it's at. So you can see right there's a gas line coming across the top. So I'm just going to gently remove it out of the way so I can slide it out. Be extremely careful not to get a kink in it. Okay, I got it out of the way, so now I can pull out the old hot water heater. You see, I got a table right here that I'm just going to set the hot water heater on. That way it just makes it easier. It's just your regular fold-up table. Just makes it easier for you to walk. Okay, so right here is your main wire. So I'm going to take that screw out so I can access and unhook the hot water heater. So right there's what you got. Your hot, your positive, and your ground right there. So just unhook these after you turn off the power. Don't forget the power. Okay, so now we got the wire unhooked, so let's go ahead and pull it all the way out and see what we got. Okay, we got the hot water heater out, so now we're going to have to remove this piece of board here because the other water heater will not sit in there. So that needs to be taken out. This big wire right here is 120 or 240. Do not hook this up to the new tankless water heater. This becomes obsolete. You're going to be hooking right here to the 12-volt wires, which is white and brown is the 12-volt wires. Okay, so it won't fit, but when they installed it, they not cut this back flush. So I'm going to take a die grinder and cut this flush. That way it'll slide right in. Well, I finally got the hole big enough. It took me a while. I had to grind out quite a bit, so don't get flustered. Just keep on measuring and cutting out what you need. I cut out a whole bunch, probably a quarter of an inch. But you see, you can't tell. Can't tell where I cut it out at, so that's a good thing. Okay, so now we got it bolted up, so it's not going nowhere. And it closes like it should. I think it turned out pretty good on the outside. Now we got to hook the power up and the water up. Try to go get some parts to hook up the water. I got that. And I got one of these to make the connection. And you got your Teflon tape. And you can see they're 1/2-inch flips. Okay, so we got the water hooked up. And we got the gas hooked back up over there with no leaks. I sprayed it down with water and soap to check for propane leak or liquid gas leak. Okay, so we got it all hooked up. I'll tell you, this connects to the 12-volt power, which that's the white wire and the brown wire on this model. And the two blue wires coming out of the back, you hook the controller to it. You see it right over there? And I put the controller right there. And I drilled a hole so it'll be accessible. Right there's how we mounted it. We used double-sided Velcro to kind of get it up out of the way. That way you won't bump it and turn it off every time. Well, I don't know if you can see or not, but I just got out of the shower and everything worked like it should. We're going to have to find a happy medium on the temperature because it was pretty warm at 100. I think we had it set at 120. So I might need to turn that down a little bit. But I hope this, anybody that's thinking about changing out their water heater for a tankless water heater, it took me about half a day to do it. But I had to go get parts, and I was waiting for the package to get here. But it's not as hard as what you think it'd be. So I'll see you in the next video. This is Kevin for Walker's Adventures.